Hello everyone and welcome to the Deepbluerenegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deepbluerenegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 253. Today is Sunday, November 18th, 2018, and I'm glad you could join me today. It is a cold, dreary day, and things have been super busy as expected. But I did manage to actually get in some extra knitting time this week, so that was really cool. So that cold I had last week, I did go into work on Monday, but I did not go into work on Tuesday. And I'm still not really better yet, but I am much less impacted. So I still need to blow my nose, and it's still gross, but I do not feel the same amount of fatigue that I did before, so perhaps that was really a flu. Silly, curious Cameron can't cover his cough. So, whatever, I guess this is the auntie life, joy, whatever. So, where should we start? I don't have any finished objects this week. I was hoping to, and I probably could have had my plans not been derailed. So, I am in the midst of knitting in a panel that will be seamed into my mini dress. The mini dress is the pattern by Caddy Melville Ladbetter. I got my version from Mother Daughter Knits, but you can buy it as a standalone pattern now. And I am knitting this out of Fiber Natura flax in the silver, regatta, and turquoise colors. So, which I got for a screaming deal at House of Yarn. $35 for the yarn, kids. $35. It's ridiculous. I just knit a sweater dress. So I decided to knit a linen sweater because I needed to acknowledge the fact that I live in Texas and I can't wear wool that often, and now that's a moot point. So this should be a very nice year-round garment, and it was good to discover that I do like linen as a material. So here's what we got going on. I have already knit a panel, as you can see here, and seamed it in the whole bit. Let's see if I can properly show it off. So, this, I underestimated my ass. It was, I didn't have enough positive ease in the bottom of the sweater for me to feel comfortable wearing it, so this was my ingenious solution to get around that and make it look as if it was supposed to be that way all along. I had oodles of the silver color left, which is it looks white to me. So I had oodles of the silver colorway left, so I decided that I could make a panel, put the ribbing on in the same way, and then be able to seam it in. And I'm really happy with how that looks, and it gets rid of the awkward zone. But I do not have this side of the sweater seamed in yet, because here. So, I counted all of the rows and made my other panel the right number of rows. So I am pretty close to the end. I probably have 20 or 30 more rows to go in the panel, but it is an even increase. So what I ended up doing was did an increase every 8 rows. I think at the moment I need to go MacGyver in and increase because I forgot to do it at the right time. Whatever. So it seemed like it was the right spot, but then it wasn't there. So I'll have to probably just pull stitches for that in the grand scheme of things. So I'm pretty close to being done with this thing, and then that'll very smoothly notch into the sweater, and it gives ample room, because I just really needed positive ease there, and I hadn't accounted for that. you live, you learn. Not too much that I can do about it. So I was so close to being done, but not quite. I'm really happy with how it seamed in. I seamed in part of it earlier this week after I'd finished knitting it, and then I finished seaming the other side at midnight. So I'm really happy with how this looks. Everyone at midnight thought it looked lovely, so that was also a positive. And it's a little bit broken up there, but not terrible. So we're gonna go with that. So, because it's just a little bit interesting shaping there, but not anything too crazy. There's just like a little bit of a corner at both of these spots. And then I have a lot of end weaving to do, but that shouldn't be totally terrible. So a good deal more white in the bottom of the sweater, but I don't think that'll be a big deal. I'm much happier with how it's fitting with that panel put in. So I have to laugh a little bit because so unfortunately all of the Amy Herzog classes sold out for DFW Fiberfest, but I was saying like, hey, no, that was a class I really wanted to take. And then everyone was like, Molly, you already have mastered mindful modifications. It's like, you don't need this class. So, not too shabby. I think it'll be really, really nice when it's done, and then I can start knitting woolly sweaters. I might do a hat next, actually, though, because I would like to make my replacement hat. So they're, I don't know, long-time watchers of the podcast will know that I knit a hat out of my third ever hand-spun. That was from a fiber optic gradient. And then last year, I think, or this year, no, it was this year. So last Rhinebeck, I rebought that gradient from fiber optic. Earlier this year, probably this summer, yeah, it was this summer, I spun the replacement yarn for it, and I should just knit it. Just knit it. What was it? I'm a little afraid I lost my alpaca hat from last Rhinebeck too. I know that I've lost it at least. I lost it once at work sometime last year, but I haven't seen it in a long time. I have this odd feeling that the more knit goods I have, the more likely I am to lose said. Just because I have plenty of them to trade out. But, so that's been a little bit frustrating. I haven't, looked for it super hardcore, but it seems weird. So I would like to knit that hat. That's going to be a pretty quick project. And then woolly sweaters. Woolly sweaters while it's cold. So, the other thing that got some love, but not nearly as much love, I was doing a lot of, that was mostly sick day knitting. Because I was just sort of sitting in place, waiting to feel better. Not feeling too bad until I got up to move. So I did get a little bit done on my Sizzle Pop. This is a Leslie Ann Robinson pattern that I am knitting out of Three Waters Farms Rambouillet in the Quilter's Magic and the Blurple. So I finally did check to see the weights on it Friday night. I didn't even work on this. Didn't even work on this yesterday, so, but whatever. It's not my primary project. So, I weighed it. I am 2/3 of the way through the yarn. I'm getting a little nervous that this guy is not going to be big enough for me. But who knows, we'll just keep swimming. So, if we assume that it's 120 grams per ball, I have about 40 grams left of my 2 balls. So hopefully this gets to be nice and big. But I'm now feeling slightly concerned. So this is brioche lace, and it's still a lot of fun to work. I was definitely having a hard time because I haven't been working on it a lot in my quest to finish a sweater. So it was just really strange working that pattern, being like, does that make sense? Was that the way it's supposed to be? It was. I checked the chart, and then it was fine, but oh well. So, coming along. It's not a decent size yet though, but there's still time. Because right now, yeah, this is pretty small. So, that's the story there. Definitely wouldn't have been enough for a square shawl. But we shall see. The balls are still pretty big. So it's about 40 grams of both left, so 2/3 the way done. It was like, do I need to do like a surface area calculation? Would that make me feel better? Who knows? So, that is the story there. So that's all my knitting. Future knitting will probably be that hat. And now we're on to spinning. So, I ended up watching a movie last night and got to finish the fiber optic portion of my combo spin. So this is fiber optic 80/20 pulver silk in the Calypso colorway. And it is 3 different shades of blue. So we have sort of a purpley royal blue, a turquoise, and then sort of like a true blue color. Unfortunately, so say this region right here is the sort of purpley blue. It totally doesn't come off on the camera right. It just blows everything out. So I finished spinning the singles for that. I still have the first bobbin, which is probably a good 4 ounces of the combo draft. Also on my Anchor's bobbins. And I have now started the last part. So this is the second half of my Knitting in Color 80/20 merino silk. And it's sort of a humbug sort of thing, so that's also interesting. And we can just look here and see how comically little I've done. You can primarily see the leader, but this little teeny weeny bit here, that's what I've spent so far. So better than nothing. I ended up swapping the ends so that I could get the easier drafting end on this one, and then I'll just do both of them from the easier drafting end. And then the plan is to take this and apply it with this to get a traditional combo spin, I guess, I don't know, combo plied, and then I'm going to apply this on itself. It probably would have made more sense to have started this guy first, but oh, whatever. So, this is all hanging out in my spiffy classic bag. So that's what I have in my wheel right now. I quite literally finished the blue last night and then started on the jewel tones last night as well. The other thing, this one's pretty heavy, is I did finish the first half of my supported spin. So this is my KCL Woodworks convertible supported spindle. Excuse me. And the next thing I need to do is wind this off on an Ostapin, or just sort of shimmy this up, and yeah, that's probably what I'll actually do. So this is a convertible supported spindle, so I have my cop here on this spindle. And then I can attach a new shaft onto this guy to start my second half. So this has been, I don't know, I'm trying to think of how long I've been working on this. Into the lighter colored one. Yeah, so, I have been, I started this for yarn school. Actually, I started this at yarn school. There we go. I was trying to remember when I did it. So this started this early October. It's now a month into, no, or whatever, 6 weeks later. But now that I'm a little bit better at supported spindling, this should go fairly well. There's like some crazy glitter in here too, whatever. So this is the 2nd ounce. So this is only a 2-ounce project. Definitely takes a little bit longer to do, but hopefully it won't be the end of the world. So this is what I have to spin next. And I will probably be working on this as a part of all of my Thanksgiving travel. So this will be like a nice little compact project that I can just throw in my bag. I can support a spindle very easily on an airplane, and I like that. So I find that to be pretty cool. So there is still a decent amount to be done, but I think it will be doable. It's nice to have a spindle project, especially when there's been like so much travel going on. It really is a great thing to have on the go. So hopefully that won't be too crazy. It also helps that my friend Sarah is also working on her supported spindling project too, so we just do that at night. Not too crazy. So, and then what I ended up bringing upstairs just randomly was the next thing that's going on my wheel, which will be this Corriedale bat. Or the 4 Corriedale bats totaling about 11 ounces of fiber. Should be pretty magical. It does emphasize to me that the drum carter of my desires is the Clems and Clems. Oh well, such is life. So, not too much you can do about that. Would it be? It'll probably be easier to do in the future, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, so future spinning, current knitting. I have some finished things to show you for the spinning. So I finally did get around to washing some of the samples that I ended up making at yarn school. Well, this one's a sample, so this is a faux log sample that I arranged as a gradient and then chain plied. And now that it's had its wash, it was like, it's quite gorgeous. So there's like blacks and grays and purples and browns as well. So I think it ended up turning out very nice. I sort of get the impression that my lights are a little bit too close because I think we get into shadow at some point. Sorry. Need to do a little bit of rearranging with that. So, I really like the feel of this. It really does make me want to try some more things with faux logs. It may be that I do a lot of Hello Yarn faux log spins. I'm really enjoying the way that this looks. And there's a tremendous amount of fiber around here. Holy cow. My poor shelf overfloweth. So, what would it be? Just trying to, what would it be? I'm sort of in it like a stash down focus right now. So I think that is why I feel like I need to spin all of the things. So there's this. So it's definitely very inspiring, and I'll be putting it in with all of my sample spins as like a cool little reminder. Now this guy is big enough for a project, I do believe. It would make like a pretty cool hat, I think. So it's 85 grams. I don't remember the yardage. But this was, I made 2 bats that reminded me of the landscape of Kansas in October, with sort of the reds and yellows and light blues. And then I paid 2 bats, dizzed them off, spun it as more of a long draw, and then 2-plied it together. And pretty darn gorgeous. Pretty happy with the results here. Really like how complicated the color turned out, and like how the long draw made for a very squishy, very compelling yarn. So, oh man. I made this with all of the bits and bobs that they had on the table for drum carding purposes. And I have 2 more bats from there that I can spin as well, aside from the other ones. So, bat craziness all over the place. So, I am really, really digging this yarn. I think it's really wonderful. Yeah, no, I'm really liking the yarn that I'm making with long draw, even though it is a thicker yarn. It's like all of the best things about hand spun are you're just like, I'll just squish it. I'm just so pleased that my vision turned into reality, and it's a really, really nice yarn to boot. So maybe some of it's coming off a little bit darker on the camera than I think it really is. So it's like very light greens, very light blues, and then reds and sparkle and some darker, more midnighty blues in there as well. Pretty pleased. So I can now put this away, maybe make a project page for it. That's what the New Year's for. Catching up with everything that I ended up getting behind with. So, I think that's everything this week. I was happy that I got more knitting time than I expected. It's just going to be crazy, but the Dear Sea Level 1 and I have managed to churn through quite a bit of the house. It's the case where like the big things that we accomplished this week was that I what was it? So like this shirt, you guys haven't seen this shirt in forever because I packed it up in a box and was intending to like rotate shirts, and they were just sitting in a box over there. So I ended up going through my shirts, ragging everything that had holes in it. Unfortunately, those were my favorites, but whatever, such is life. Went through all of my clothes, got rid of the stuff that I'm never going to wear again. Let's see. Got rid of, would it be an awful lot of paperwork and stuff that we had been holding on to for no apparent reason. All sorts of other crazy sorts of things. So we still need to do the upstairs, but we're much closer on the downstairs. In terms of the next things, I need to go through my kitchen and get rid of all of the stuff I don't use, and probably have like a giant thing that ends up getting donated to charity. what would it be? We have a pretty good pile right now of like clothes that need to get donated to charity because they're still in good shape. But also, what would it be? Like tossing broken containers, blah, 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 blah. So, we made some tremendous progress, and we'll just have to keep chipping away at it. There are definitely still some scary places left to go, though. The upstairs is slightly scary. The good news is that at least my stash is well organized. There's some really random stuff that's just been sitting in this room, though, that I'm not quite sure what to do with. Oh, such is life. But that's been what has been primarily occupying my normal crafting time, and what would it be? Hopefully we'll be getting some help. Shenanigans. But much excitement, much craziness. What would it be? Hopefully the scary parts are over. Or we quickly get through the scary parts and just can move on to the exciting parts, so. Won't be too crazy. So, I'm sure I can be pretty ruthless in here as well. It just sort of, like, what would it be? You sort of need to have that push where you're like, yeah, no, I'm done. If it's like, oh wait, no, I don't need this in my life anymore. I tend to be much better about, like, I tend to go through my knitting stuff like every 3 to 6 months, so I'm not too worried about it. But there probably are some things where it's like, oh, come on. Oh, such is life. So, it should be possible to record next week, unless we end up having company over on that Sunday. We shall see. If we do have company, then there won't be a podcast. Definitely the week after, though. So, trying to think if there's anything else that I need to talk about. I am drawing a blank. So, with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So, take care, guys. Bye-bye.